What's going on out there, American truckers? Hope all of you are doing great, staying safe and out of trouble. Welcome to Trucking with Old Snapper. I'm your host, Old Snapper. Well, coming to you this evening with some really bad news. We got 6 hurt, 1 dead, and a driver in jail. We're going to hear about it right after this. Well, everyone, welcome back. As you saw from the preview, there's a truck driver in jail. There's 1 driver dead and 6 that are hurt. This is from an accident that happened in Tacoma, Washington on Friday the 18th, March the 18th. That's just this past Friday. Happened at 7:30 in the morning. There was an accident involving some cars, involving 2 semis. I'm going to be putting up the information about it throughout this video, so stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. And we do everything here trucking related pretty much. Anyway, 7:30 in the morning. All right, there's an accident on I-5 near Tacoma involving some cars and 2 semi trucks. All right, 6 people were hurt. 1 person was killed at the scene, and 1 driver was arrested for DUI. Did not say whether he was drunk or on some other substance. Could have been any number of things. All right, because you can get a DUI for being stoned, being high, all them types. But at any rate, the driver was not driving sober. Okay, 7:30 in the morning. Really sad, really hate to hear this. I know some people out there will say, well, the truckers always get blamed. Well, as truck drivers, we are professionals. We drive more miles than your average person every year. We get a lot more practice at it. Not only that, but we go through additional training for it, and we are paid to do it, which thus makes us professional drivers. All right, so we should know better. We should know better than to be driving around intoxicated under any circumstance of any substance, legal or otherwise. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it was weed, whether it was cocaine, whether it was pain pills, whether it was alcohol. It doesn't matter. Shouldn't be driving under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. Impaired. Some people might say, Snapper, why don't you mind your business? You're not driving high. You're not driving drunk. So don't worry about what the next driver is doing. Well, it could be my family that's affected by that driver who's not driving properly. Could be your family that's affected by that driver who's not driving properly. Not only that, but drivers like this make us all look bad. Okay, if a driver kills somebody and they're under the influence of anything, it makes us all look bad. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying for sure 100% this driver's under the influence. Could be wrong altogether. Okay, until he's convicted, that's that. So I should rephrase that and say suspected of being under the influence. All right, he is suspected of being under the influence. But anyway, as professional drivers, we shouldn't be driving under the influence of nothing. Okay, another reason it concerns me is every time something like this happens, it gives the federal government more ammunition to get stricter on us. They get stricter on drug testing, random drug testing. At the present time, a drug test is not a part of a DOT physical. Most companies require it because their insurance requires it, but it's not a part of a DOT physical. But if this kind of stuff keeps happening, who's to say that the federal government won't come in and make it a part of a DOT physical? Who's to say the federal government won't come in and make a hair test part of a DOT physical? These little black boxes right here, we used to not have these. You know what caused these? The federal government used accidents from people driving outside of their logs on paper logs as one of the pieces of ammunition against us to push these little black boxes into existence, and we deal with them today. Most laws and rules out there come about from them being broken too much, from things happening. So they create a law, or they create something to try to help prevent it. Who's to say that DOT doesn't come out in another year and say, you know what, some states are legalizing pot, and now we're having too many accidents, so we need to initiate a hair test along with the DOT physical. You might say, well, what if they legalize weed federally, or what about the people who live in states where weed is legal? Alcohol is legal, we still take a test for it as well. It's not the law that makes us have to take a test, it's insurance. Okay? Insurance makes us take a test. You know, the way insurance sees it is, if a person cannot go without alcohol long enough to come in and pass an alcohol test, then they're probably going to show up to work drunk. Therefore, they're not going to cover them. And since insurance won't cover them, the company won't hire them. Okay? Same thing with pot, you know, or any of these other drugs that they're legalizing in some states. That's why even if they legalize it federally, it's never going to be allowed. Okay? Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's going to be allowed. So, if you're going to drive trucks, you're going to have to make a decision. You know, are you mature enough to let that go? Come out here, be an adult, and drive trucks and drive sober. If that's the life you want to live, I'm not anyone to tell you not to, but you shouldn't be driving trucks. And it's because of stuff like this, and you make it harder on everybody else out here who is abiding by the law and doesn't do those things. It makes us all look bad industry-wide. I smoked weed as a teenager, but there came a point in time in my life when I realized I had to quit and I had to grow up if I wanted a better job. You know, so I haven't smoked weed since I was a teenager. You know, but that's me. That's the choice I made. You know, but I don't get behind the wheel of a truck. I don't even get behind the wheel of a truck if I've taken NyQuil. Okay, anything like that, I will not get behind the wheel of this truck. All right, because even NyQuil, if I have an accident, could be used against me in court. You know, you take this driver right here. If they prove that he was under the influence of something, you know, he's going to be responsible for the death of for the person that died. He may spend the rest of his life in prison. As you can see in the picture a while ago, I showed the man being arrested. He don't look like no young cat. You know, he's at least in his early 30s, maybe late 20s, early 30s. Doesn't take a whole lot of years, man. That could be the rest of his life in a Washington prison. And if he ain't from Washington, think about this. Now he's sitting in prison all the way across the country from wherever he is from. That's no way to live. All behind what? All behind what? Wanting to get a shot of alcohol, or drinking too late last night so it's still on your breath in the morning, or wanting to smoke a joint before you start your work day? Really? That was worth it? It's a whole lot of years to sit and think about that. I have nothing against anybody who wants to do this sort of thing with their life. But I do have something against them if they want to get behind the wheel of a truck doing it. This ain't the place for it. And it makes a lot of really good people look bad. And I'm not saying this is a bad guy. He just made a bad choice. But those bad choices have consequences, and they could affect every single driver out here, including you watching this video right now and me sitting here right now. You know, life is important. Your life is valuable. My life is valuable. My kids' lives are valuable. All right. Someone's family got notified that their loved one wasn't coming home because a driver may not have been responsible and caused an accident maybe under the influence of a narcotic or alcohol, and killed their loved one. It's not right. Just something to think about, drivers. I know I got some great subscribers. I'm sure y'all don't do none of that. I appreciate all y'all for watching. Appreciate all y'all for being here. It means the world to me. Please like and subscribe. Share this with other drivers. Let's bring awareness to this. This is happening way too much. This ain't the first case of it. This is just the most recent one. It's happening way too much. Since states have started legalizing pot, it started happening a lot. But I appreciate all of y'all. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. Remember, we are all family out here, even if we are a little bit dysfunctional. I appreciate you. Let's keep trucking.